Good evening, Rando fans. We have a great interdivisional matchup here on the ALTTPR League 2 between hXcJedders of Hyrule Track and Field and DazedCloud of Spoiled Leftovers. My name is Joe Fuzz, and I'm pleased to be joined on comms tonight by WinFox470. How are you, WinFox?
I am doing great, Joe. I'm looking forward to this race. It's going to be an insanely good race tonight. Two top runners in these two divisions here in this inter-division race. It's going to be a great race. I hope everyone enjoys it tonight.
Yeah, both teams coming into week 2 at 2-0. So hard to call this a must-win so early in the season, but you got to believe they want to put as much space between their competition in their division as possible.
Definitely, and this race is going to be a 7-7 open mode, defeat Ganon. So the goal is just to collect all 7 crystals, get up to Ganon's tower, defeat Agatu, and then finish off with the pig. As we see both runners taking separate starting routes, DazedCloud with the Uncle routing start, with Jedders with the Sang start. So we get to see a few checks here very early in the two most standard opening routes in the game.
Yep, not a bad way to go for Days. Looking for something useful out of that tree pull. A couple rupees is not that bad. Bombs would have been good for the Kakariko visit.
And we do have those bombs off of the Uncle, and we do have a vanilla sword on the Uncle, so he will be doing the front of escape here.
Yeah, definitely a great thing to be able to route in escape right away. I always feel like it's something you can just as easily just leave behind for a little bit too long because it's not so easy to route in with anything else.
Yeah, as we also see another sword on that Thieves drop down in Lost Woods, so we will have Master Sword very, very soon for both of these players, assuming Jedders does get over to do that Uncle escape play after the Kakariko, but DazedCloud will have that Master Sword very, very soon.
Yeah, I imagine he'll be getting that before Jedders gets over to Uncle. But we'll see. As the first chest, just a big 20.
Yeah, as we see Jedders working his way over to Kakariko, doesn't have any bombs, doesn't have enough to even buy bombs here from the bomb shop. So he's kind of hoping he gets bailed out here in Blind's hideout with some bombs.
Yeah, I like the play. It's a risk, but I always find with so many chests in Kakariko, you have a high probability of getting bombs or at least getting enough money to go purchase them.
Alright, he did get that money as well as finds the power gloves there in the front of Blind's hideout. So a good snag so far from him, but still missing those bombs. Hopefully the back of Blind's hut not having much of anything. Did you see anything on the left side there in DazedCloud in that boomerang chest?
Yeah, I just missed it. Yeah, I just missed it. I didn't see.
Alright, as he is checking Sit Kid, does have a bottle as well. I'm going to assume he got that from either Sanctuary and does get those bombs off the Sit Kid. Did get bailed out.
Just a map in the Zelda cell. So definitely, I don't know if we saw the key either. So that's the sewer key sitting out there somewhere. And Daze is gonna probably get their Master Sword very soon.
Yeah, as did get more bombs there from the back of the tavern, so we don't have to worry about that at all in Kakariko today. Blue Mail in Chicken's Hut, and the bottle was in Sanctuary for that Sick Kid check.
With a free fairy to go along with your bottle.
Yes, it's always good to have those filled up, no matter which of the 4 you have, of the red, green, or blue, or the fairy. We have the Cack well checks here, just a heart piece to start it off, as DazedCloud does get that Master Sword. And the full bomb refill there. Small amount of rupees here. And not much in Cack well.
Well, at least we know we don't have to go spending additional rupees on bombs now that we know we've got them, as Daze pulls a great tree pull, getting 4 bomb drops.
And that tier 2 tree pull, 4 bombs, very, very nice payout there on that tier 2 pull. And it looks like that second chest in the front of his keep was 300 bombs, as we see him having substantially more bombs than Jedders. Or more bombs, more rupees. And we get blue and red mail in Blind's hideout.
Great thing to see. I always wonder if I'm getting stacked with mail early on in the game. I always wonder if I'm just gonna not see a lot of health along the way as we go, but
yeah,
hopefully not the case here.
I noticed Jedders did not check the library or the race game and opted to go straight for the back of escape with that glove. Most players will usually check those as they finish up Kakariko.
Yeah, I wonder if seeing the map. Oh, actually, no. Was that Daze who saw the map?
It was DazedCloud that saw the map there, so we do know there is an item in that Dark Cross in Hyrule Castle. As we see Jedders going and checking the front of Escape. We'll be getting that Master Sword as well.
Yeah, and I got to imagine they will, having that key, definitely make an attempt at getting a Dark Cross in the dark, knowing there's an item there.
Yeah, as DazedCloud does get that red mail and that Master Sword for Jedders there, we'll be doing the front of Escape. We'll realize that there is that item in Dark Cross.
Yeah, it definitely feels like an intentional play here by hXcJedders. Could pay off. Maybe looking to just shave off a few seconds by, finding a key item earlier than their opponent, giving a slight advantage. But we'll see if it pays off here in the at Dark Cross.
And we do finally get that map check, as we have Hera the green pendant, Eastern Palace the red or blue pendant, and then Desert as that crystal. We're getting that library and race game checks now. Library just having 3 bombs, we won't be seeing that this game. And the race game just having a heart piece, skipping that out as well. It's a matter of where we're going to see DazedCloud go now. My guess is going to be... Oh, he's going to be checking back of Escape. Ratty hadn't done that yet. My guess after that, we'll probably see one of the runners at least go to the South Shore checks. And as we see both these runners doing checks, we've seen the other ones do, just swapping routes here. I do want to say that this is the Open League, Season 3 Open League. Spoiled Leftovers was 1 game off of making the bracket last season to be in the Invitational. So they were really close. So they're definitely going to be one of the stronger teams here in the Open League, just 1 game off from the Invitational last year. Hyrule Track and Field, I believe a returning team from last year. Not sure what their record was. As Jedders takes the Death Warp, probably going to head into Dark Cross from the front with that Death Warp. As we see DazedCloud going from the back and the Death Warp into the Fairy Revival.
Yeah, well, thankfully with only 4 hearts, it's not going to take that much extra time to get down.
As we see DazedCloud, and it's just a heart container in Dark Cross. So not much there, just a nice heart container is always good, but nothing of importance there.
And this looks like they're going to be taking a trip down south to do the South Shore and all those checks.
Yeah, there's really not much for checks besides South Shore and the Sahasrah Eastern area. We won't see usually the Eastern checks until we get a bow. But it is a pendant, so I'm going to highly doubt we see that area at all.
Yeah, it's that's an interesting one. I mean, personally, I always like to try. I always like to try considering Eastern Palace overworld. I think it becomes an important place to check, or it's a very common place to miss something, especially in the early game if you're looking for Dark World access. I've found that Eastern Palace sometimes has something in the front. Now, will that be the case here? We'll see. But I got to imagine in a race setting, you're going to want to put that off for as long as possible because it will take time to go through, and it's a pendant, and you really don't want to be wasting your time on pendants.
Yeah. As we see Jedders heading over to the eastern side, is going to be checking Lake Highlight Island. It isn't much of anything. We'll probably see that Sahasrah and maybe Eastern Palace dip. As we see DazedCloud didn't see much on the dam or the flooded item there, heading into Mini Moldarm Cave for 5 more checks. As we get the lamp, this is starting to look like a... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm calling Agaseed. You knew what I was gonna say. It's looking to be an Agaseed.
Yeah, the nail in the coffin with the cape.
And there's the Moon Pearl. I'm gonna say DazedCloud finds that Moon Pearl after checking Ice Rod Cave and goes straight to Aga for that Dark World access.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once Jedders gets their mini Moldorm cave done and Daze gets over to the closet, we're going straight to Aga. I gotta imagine.
Yeah, our approach our only bailout is we find the mirror for Death Mountain, or the hook shot. Other than that, we will more than likely see the Aga play.
Interesting though, Jeddar is actually dipping into Eastern Palace, gonna take the risk, and while they're here, probably thinking they're never coming back here again, want to just check and make sure that there's not something just sitting out here in the front that could easily be progression.
Yeah, we know sometimes these pendant dungeons could just randomly hold that progression that you may skip if you skip pendant dungeons. So
Yeah.
the big call is if DazedCloud here, we'll grab that Moon Pearl and just immediately save and quit and head over to Aga Tower. Or if he dips eastern and follows Jedders in there. As we don't see much so far in Eastern Palace. Just a dungeon item in that big 20. And DazedCloud gonna head over to Eastern.
Yeah, not. I was expecting the immediate save and quit, but it looks like, yep, looks like he's heading over. Jedders looks like they're going to go ahead and do the dark room. Dazed will have logical access to whatever's back here, but the Eastern Palace dark room is just one of those rooms. For runners in this league, it's really dark rooms are not usually a problem. Eastern Palace is usually one of the first dark rooms you tend to learn because of how straightforward it is. But we'll see. I wasn't counting the items, so I'm not sure if. I assume there's just one item left. I think we've seen 2.
I believe you're right. I believe we just found the big 20 here on the right side chest. And then I believe there's an item in either the big chest or the compass chest there. And Cane of Samar or Cane of Burna on that last check there.
Yeah, probably not thrilled to see that. I think they would have liked. I think they would have liked the Canis of Maria, not the Cane of Berna, but Jedders now heading south. Is gonna get their lamp and probably. I would think head over to Aga after that, but we'll see.
Yeah, most players they tend to do Aggo last. I mean, we do have Agina's Cave still left, and then the mountain, and that's pretty much it. My guess is they're going to head straight to Aga, and we'll probably find our next set of progression there on either the Ledge or Palace of Darkness. I want to say DazedCloud has a slight lead here in the beginning. Not much though. This race is still super early, only 15 minutes in. Anything can happen. But it does have just that slight edge over Jedders right now.
Yeah, I agree. Jedders will make up, seemingly make up a lot the item gap with the South Shore checks here, and that'll bring them even.
Or another option that we could see Jedders do here after doing the South Shore checks with that Moon Pearl, he could fake Flipper and has Zora money. We may see the Zora checks with Waterfall Fairy being out of logic.
Yeah, that's a good catch because Jedders did pick up that 20 rupees at the bottom of the dam, which
Yeah.
you wouldn't normally pick up, but being so close to 500, that's the magic number for a Zora life lesson.
Yeah, and Zora is in logic. They do have the glove to get over that part of the map, but we'll probably just see the fake Flipper over there. As we see DazedCloud checking Lumberjack Ledge, this is an unusual check unless he's going to go right up the mountain to get the couple checks up there that he can do. And it's just 10 arrows, so Aga will probably only be required for that Dark World access. And we see Jedders heading back down to set up that fake Flipper in that screen transition. As DazedCloud does head up the mountain after checking Lumberjack Ledge.
Fake Flipper was one of those things I learned pretty early on. The idea being the game really only checks if you have the flippers when the splash sprite appears when you fall in the water. And by falling into the water and then immediately doing a screen transition, you skip the animation that shows the splash into the water, and therefore the game doesn't actually check to see if you have the flippers. And once the screen transitions, you're in the water, the game says, huh, okay, fine, swim.
Yeah, it's pretty much it, actually, to a T. It's usually one of those minor glitches that a lot of players will learn. It's one of the first ones you'll learn for the runners. As we see the mountain has absolutely nothing. DazedCloud, thinking about that 300, decides against it.
Yeah, that was a big play. With only those two checks, not having a mirror, not really having any access to anywhere else on the mountain, it would have paid off big had something been there, but not today. As Jedders heads up to finish out the remainder of their fake flipper checks.
DazedCloud heading over to Agina Cave. We're just one item from Dark World access, so it makes sense that these players are clearing out everything they can to avoid that Aga Tower play. Because if you do it and your opponent doesn't, and they find that item just because they found that one item needed, then you're going to be down about 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You'd hate to find out that something like the mitts or the hammer was just sitting there waiting for you to take it in the early game.
I'm gonna check to see what Zora has today. And a 499 rupee ripoff.
Oof.
And looks like we'll probably be swapping spots again. My guess is DazedCloud's going to do those fake flipper checks. Jedder's going to head up the mountain and realize, no, DazedCloud is proving me wrong. He is abandoning those flipper checks, going up to Aga for that Dark World access.
Apparently has seen enough of the light world and wants to check out what's going on in the dark world.
Yeah, he's going to bank on that one logical check with Zora not being his access to Dark World, and he's just going to make the Aga play.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good decision. I mean, you have 2 pendants in the light world. You know that the dark world is, that's 2 pendants in the light world. You know, there's most of your play is going to be in the dark world. You don't really want to go into those dungeons anymore if you don't have to. Eastern and Hera. So the quicker you can get over to dark world and see what you have to deal with over there is probably the better. So I like the play.
Agreed on 100%. Our progression here, when we hit the Dark World, there's not going to be very many checks. Just the Desert Ledge, Catfish, or the Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, and like 3 or 4 logical checks in Pod, depending on if that first chest is a key or if we're locked out of with the bow. So we'll see that progression very fast in the Dark World.
And Chad pointing out, making a good point here. Even though the mountain only has the 2 checks available to them, having that save point up there for when they need to get back to the mountain is a good thing to have, so they can get back there as quickly as possible. We don't know when they're going to get the flute, so or if they get the flute. So you want to have that to at least get up there quick if they need to.
Yeah, that save point is definitely a huge thing to have, especially early on. My guess is Turtle Rock's going to be one of those crystals, so we'll want to get back up there as fast as possible. Alright, so what progression do you think we're going to find in the Dark World when we first get into it?
I'm thinking Hammer. I imagine Thieves Town is. I'm thinking Thieves Town's going to be a crystal. If you're coming over here, if Aga is expected to be your Dark World access, maybe it's expecting you to do Pod first. So Hammer might be the first big progression item we see.
If it is the Hammer, then that means, yeah, we're expected to finish Palace of Darkness, but we still don't have that bow. I'm going to say Hookshot. I'm going to say Hookshot gets us to the other side of that river to do the Village of Outcasts in Thieves Town area and have us just route down into South Dark World from there.
Yeah, taking the scenic route around the Dark World, especially with no boots, that's a long walk around Hyrule.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's not one of those seeds where we find the Hookshot and then we find the Hammer in a really, really bad location, and we have to force just to make constant circles around the Dark World just to find the next set of progression that can really drag a seed out pretty bad.
Well, a lot of the seeds and a lot of the races I've both commentated and watched, there's always something.
Yeah, Tabby Cat in chat hoping for the worst with Pendant Thieves Town with the Hammer on blind.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. If it's a feels bad moment when that happens to you, but I have seen it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In this season even. I mean, there's been plenty of things like that. even worse, you know, fetch quests on a fetch quest independent dungeon to progression.
Yeah, it's all really, really bad there. That was a really fast map check. Looks like Thieves Town and Skullwoods were the 5/6s. That's all I got out of that.
Yep, and Ice Palace is our red pendant.
Okay, so that's all of our crystal and pendant knowledge.
So that does mean Ice Palace is gonna have something, right? It's
Oh, of
just that's
course.
just how it's got it, right?
Of course, like it's gonna have the Cane of Samaria on the icebreaker chest. Like that's
Oh
just
yeah. Yep. Yep. Required Ice Palace bomb jump. Maybe the Samaria Freezor chest, right? So you gotta whip out the old Ice Palace bomb jump to get your Cane of Samaria in pendant ice.
Yep, gotta go with the NMG strats to finish these dungeons. And Catfish having nothing, the Pyramid Ledges having the bug net. So Gamachu would be satisfied with go mode at the end with that bug net. Chat saying,
I find it.
saying
Oh, yeah, go
Hammer
ahead.
and Ice Palace. That would be even worse. I mean, as viewers and commentators, you know, we like to see the worst because it's the best content out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean my size of disbelief are purely superficial. That would make for some great entertainment.
Oh yeah. But so far, it's just been the standard Aga for Dark World play with nothing on Lumberjack Ledge. With our progression here in Palace of Darkness.
And not a lot of hearts so far, but each runner having red mail. This shouldn't be too scary of a Dark World trip with Master Sword.
No, both these players definitely up on the higher end of experience and playability, so red mail for them. They'll be satisfied with even 7 or 8 hearts on red mail, fighting Ganon and doing the harder stuff in the game. As DazedCloud finally enters Palace of Darkness here, we'll either find our progression right here, or we're going to get that key to get access to the back.
And here we go. Off to the back.
Alright, we do have that green potion, or it was a fairy actually, and I think he may also have a green potion as well, DazedCloud does. No, it is just a bee, so we're not going to get that potion glitch to the right side, so all of our progression will be in the back. Only 2 more logical checks in here unless we get a couple more small keys.
Oh, you got it. Hook shot.
And a quake, okay. So that is our access to the rest of the Dark World. Go ahead, I am sorry.
That's okay. No. Yeah, opting to just quit right out. I think there were still other checks, but
they are logically locked out of the rest of the dungeon unless they get a bow or potion glitch. DazedCloud gonna take that hookshot and follow it up to Death Mountain to get Eastern Death Mountain done with Paradox Cave.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good play. A lot of checks up here. Probably. Yeah, I mean, I think you find at least some progression up here. I would hope, but this is just as I would say it's just as item dense as what you would get over in the Village of Outcasts area.
Yeah, you definitely will. And finds a tempered sword, that's going to be huge. We may see a sword advantage for quite a while for DazedCloud if Jedders heads straight over to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that damage differential between Master Sword and Tempered is meaningful. It will make a lot of fights a lot easier. So the longer Dazed has that advantage, he's gonna hopefully increase a lead.
Does find Bombos, might be the progression we're looking for up here. May not be anything, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think anytime you find you find 2 medallions early on, you're feeling pretty good. Knowing you got to go into Mire and Turtle Rock, that's 66% chance you've got access to both of them.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling when you find those 2 early. All we have left is just Spiral Cave. This hopefully will pay out for him. Maybe he'll find the hammer. That'd be really nice to get up here. Here in Spiral Cave, most players would take that hookshot and go right over to Village of Outcasts. So DazedCloud kind of going, what I would say, against the grain a little bit and going up to the mountain with that hookshot.
Interesting. Jedders having the green potion looks to be going through and doing the skip.
Yeah, it was Jedders that actually, he dumped that bee when he did his flippers checks. Dumped the bee and got the green bottle from the waterfall fairy, so he's actually going to mimic clip here. This is really cool tech to see. Jedders probably the best player at mimic clipping. It involves getting the mimic clipped into the wall at a certain position and just having it leave the screen. Most players use pause buffers or save and quit buffers to get it to work. He does it. I've seen him do it multiple times.
Yeah, that was a very, very quick and well executed mimic clip.
It's a tech I still don't know how to do. Really want to learn it. Would be nice if I could learn it, but don't know how. And Jedders is going to death warp back to the beginning and take those keys to the back. Hopefully we'll find further progression besides that hook shot. As we see DazedCloud and Headnope checking the bumper cape check with that cape. Maybe thinking there's progression up here with that early cape as well. And there isn't, unfortunately. Alright, everything we're seeing here in the back of Palace of Darkness is bow lock, so if we find a bow back here, this is going to get really interesting for Jedders to find the logical silver arrows. As DazedCloud's going to head into Skull Woods, probably going back to front.
Yeah, smart idea, especially when you don't have Fire Rod to actually complete the dungeon. This will just make getting through here much more efficient.
I mean, the way the seed's playing out so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually find the Fire Rod in here. With a vanilla big key.
Yeah, I got to imagine. It feels like this seed is gonna have some dungeon with its required item sitting there for progression.
Alright, is Jedders doing the back of pod? Haven't seen much in here in the back so far.
The single arrow of destiny.
Yes, I have a different name for it. I will not say it on stream. It is not appropriate. As we find that big key in the bottom of Dark Maze. Just the one check left with the big chest here. And all of Pod coming up empty with just that hook shot.
Yeah.
Jetter's lead increasing a little bit for DazedCloud, but it does mean he can just enter that dungeon when he gets the required items. He can just fly through it real quick. As Skull Woods still turns up empty as well. All of our progression so far has just mostly been overworld checks, besides that one hook shot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm not sure if we really have any one dungeon we can full clear just yet. Unless I'm missing.
I mean, we can complete Thieves Town. We can kill Blind. We just can't check the big chest because we don't have the hammer yet. My guess is DazedCloud's going to do all of Village of Outcasts and probably at least kill Blind. May not get the hammer if there is an item in that big chest. As we find that progression with that Titan's Mitts in C-shaped house, opening the seat up, like blowing the seat open.
Yep. And the longer Daze has that glove over Jedders, that's gonna be a lot of time he's gonna have to make up. But I got to imagine Jedders is going to head that way very soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he's gonna come straight over, make his long circle around the map to get to Village of Outcasts to get that item. We'll be a bit behind, as DazedCloud will probably be more than likely 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through Thieves Town by the time he enters it.
Yeah, and I think a big play with Daze going up to the mountain, getting a little extra health, getting the Tempered Sword, has that going for them as well. Not that I don't doubt Jedders is going to have no problems going through Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town with Master Sword, but something to be said about having to swing your sword just a few less times to get through enemies as you move around.
Yeah, just like we said when he found that Tempered Sword, this sword advantage, the lead's going to slowly build up with that sword advantage. Be able to clear things much faster, kill not only just regular enemies, but we'll kill bosses much faster as well. Outside of Blind being pretty much a scripted fight for these players, they required 9 hits.
Right.
I don't think we've seen any items here in the front of Thieves Town. Just that first item with that piece of heart.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we see that key, we'll know there's going to be something something locked into in the big key chest, or the big chest rather. Just staring at him in the face until they get a hammer.
Yeah, the only thing we can hope is the only other location it can be is in the blind cell there, a couple rooms over from that big key, from that big chest. So hopefully, the small key has locked itself up in itself there. Otherwise, it's going to be sitting in the back of their minds for a while. Did we find all 4 items? I'm pretty sure we found both the map and compass already.
Yeah, in a seed like this where you're really getting drip fed progression items, you'd hate to be leaving chests chests behind in dungeons that you couldn't access, just constantly needling at you, saying like, well, maybe that's it. That's not a good feeling.
Not at all. One thing I noticed is that Ice Palace is accessible now when we got that glove with that bombus. So we may have to find hammer or cane, or worst case would be that fire rod in Ice Palace.
Yeah, that really gross Ice Palace hammer possibility is a little bit more real now.
Yeah, I mean, we only have 2 more items left here in Thieves Town, but we do have all of South Dark World, a numerous number of checks down there, and then after that, I guess next option would be that Ice Palace play. Because we do have that hook shot, so... Oh, we do find that small key in blind cell without the hammer. Doesn't feel good.
No. Can the big key get locked in the chest here? I never remember if that's in logic here.
The small key, so it can lock itself in the big chest. There's only 5 locations in the entire dungeon that small key can be, and that's in the first 4 or blind cell. Those are the only 5 locations in the entire dungeon that that small key can be. So if you don't see in any of those 5 checks, then it does lock itself in the big chest there.
Okay, right. Yeah, I said big key, but of course you have to get the big key in one of the first 4 chests to get back there. Yeah.
I knew what you meant, though. I
got you
covered.
That's totally what I meant.
All good. All right. As Jedders does get his Titan's mitts there in the C-shaped house, as DazedCloud finishes up Thieves Town, will be probably
just pair a cluster of bombs on blind.
Yeah, so we will start seeing the South Dark World checks here from DazedCloud. He does have a bit of a lead now. However, Jedders hasn't done the mountain yet, so that lead could just instantly vanish as soon as Jedders, or as soon as DazedCloud does the Zora checks. I meant to say he hasn't done the Flippers check, so that lead could instantly vanish once he does those Flipper checks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is by no means a lock. I mean, we're just getting to the point where this seed has opened wide open, and you know, anything could happen here. Dazed has got the advantage for now, but that could disappear just like that as soon as Jedders finds some big progression item.
Yeah, I mean, he could find one item that DazedCloud doesn't. It's in a really bad location. We do find that mirror. A huge progression, the more huge progression here. We're going to start seeing items probably flood in here very fast, and this seed's going to start picking up here very, very fast.
Yep, that mirror does actually open up Swamp Palace for us, with at least the front.
We're still actually missing the flippers for that. Once we get the flippers, then we can at least get that first chest there. We probably won't see anything from Swamp for quite a while. But we do have the Smith's chain opened up. This does route very, very nicely. With the South Dark World.
Yeah, Jedders is fooling me. Having watched him swim around, I had forgotten that we don't have the flippers yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of mistakes, and we do have that Ether Medallion, so no Medallion Go mode this seed, unfortunately.
There's always Ice Rod.
Oh, the Ice Rod. I mean, we could always get everyone's favorite and get the trifecta Agaped tile room seed.
No. I think I've seen a combination. But I've seen them individually, at least this season. But all of them together, that would be something.
Yeah, as far as I know, it hasn't happened yet, but it's bound to happen. Everyone knows it is. There's 86 teams combined between the two tournaments. So, you know, at 2 races a week for each team, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, with so many oh, there's the flippers.
There's your flippers. We just found them. So that does open up that first chest in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, another horrible location to find the hammer.
Yeah, if that hammer's in that first chest, that's one of the worst places for it to be, if not the worst in the game. Because no one ever goes there to check, oh, let's go check Swamp Palace for that hammer. No one does that.
Yeah, no, Swamp Palace is seemingly the last place anyone really wants to go in in this iteration. Oh wow, great find by DazedCloud getting the Cane of Samaria. Yeah, that makes Ice Palace a little bit more palatable right now.
It's a little bit more juicier with that King of Samaria. Gets that can do that icebreaker. You don't be checking Hype Cave here. Besides that, what do we have to check besides that? Not much. Ice Palace is all I can actually think of off the top of my head. So I'm gonna guess Hype Cave is gonna be pretty hyped today.
Well, that would be a departure from most of the seeds I've seen, but we get powder, some cash, and some sticks.
All right, it's only hype if the powder has something.
Very true, but I wonder if Dazed is gonna bother going all the way back just for that. It does. Looks like they might be heading in for flippers checks.
I'm gonna assume he's gonna check the Lake Island here, and then we already know what it is. There's a bunch of nothing because he checked it before he did Sahasrara. My guess is flippers checks here. He's not gonna find much, unfortunately.
Oh, this might just be Dazed skipping the pegs.
Yes, as Jedders does finish blind. Got a little bit off script there, but does get the kill. Has caught up in that one crystal count for both of them now with that blind kill. And I'm gonna say at this point our progression is going to be Ice Palace. I mean, what else do we have? I mean, we have Dark Death Mountain. That's it. Ice Palace and Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, and for Dazed having already been to the mountain twice, I don't imagine Dark Death Mountain is the really where you want to go to right now. So it looks like they've decided that all the flippers checks plus Ice Palace is probably the way to go, and I gotta say that's probably a good decision. Even if there's something on Dark Death Mountain, you're gonna get back there eventually, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to say Jedders will probably make the Death Mountain climb here after making his Dark World sweep. I'd be more inclined to have him go there, especially after finding that mirror.
Yeah, and if we have our next major progression up on Dark Death Mountain, it's yeah, that would be a really that would Jedders would get a bit of an advantage there if they head up there right away.
Tabby Cat also pointing out, DazedCloud does have the knowledge that those boots are on the floating island up on the mountain. So he may actually go back up the mountain, grab those boots.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I missed that, and it does look like they didn't forget.
So those boots are gonna be pretty good find there. I'm guessing we're gonna find our next set of progression here on Dark Death Mountain. Either the Fire Rod or the Hammer. My guess is going to be the Hammer to make Pod beatable, as well as potentially get a couple checks in Turtle Rock, and that's pretty much it.
So would you go into Turtle Rock only having the cane, no Fire Rod? You think it'd be worth checking if only you just kind of get that first chest out of the way to see if there's anything just lingering there?
From past experience playing this, if I did get the Hammer, I would probably go in there just to check the first chest. Like just kind of playing to avoid Ice Palace as much as possible right now. You want to avoid those pendant dungeons. So I would probably dip into Turtle Rock to hopefully get as deep as I can.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime I find myself on Dark Death Mountain or Death Mountain and have have the ability to get into Turtle Rock, I gotta take a peek because chances are, if there is progression in there, then it's going to be a while before I would ever end up heading back there. Looks like I got a book in Hookshot Cave.
Opens up both of those tablets there, the Bombos and Ether tablet, which we'll probably see DazedCloud check after checking his medallion requirement, even though it doesn't matter. So he's going to be getting that boots and probably head over to Ether tablet. And your play for Hammer in Ice Palace is looking more and more likely.
Yep, I mean, we do now have access to Desert Palace. We can full clear desert. There could be progression over there.
We do have access to it. My guess is he's going to check this tablet here and probably head over to desert. Most players, they focus on just clearing dungeons, getting them finished as fast as possible. So we're going to get this check of probably a quick save and quit and over to desert.
Oh, is this our? I think this is our first look up in the Tower of Hera.
This actually isn't a bad play. It is our green pendant. So I do like this play. He's right next to it. Jedders turning in that purple chest. We'll be getting that Cane of Samaria here. And DazedCloud opting out of doing Herapot. Probably wants to get that big key to check. The big chest at the top. We'll probably get this key and then probably Herapot up to the top.
Oh, I think Jedders is making the Swamp Palace check.
Oh, he's making the call to check that first chest here. After getting those flippers, this could pay off huge. This could be what you had mentioned earlier about, Jedders finding that one item that, could gain a lot of time on. If this is the hammer, he will have made up a lot of time.
Yeah, Jedders seeming to opt for a lot of the riskier check here. But yeah, if this pays off, that would be big. 52 minutes in, you gotta, looking at your inventory, you gotta be wondering, like, there's something I'm missing, right? There has to be something I've not checked that my opponent has checked.
Yeah. Oh, the ice run.
Oh man, interesting. Yeah, first chest, but who knows when Daze might get over there to take a look, depending on how the rest of the seed shakes out for them.
Unfortunately, finding the ice rod, like it is a great find, but it's DazedCloud. It's on DazedCloud's path. He's going to find it. It's a great find, but it doesn't change much of the face of this race at this time. As we find the hammer in Tower of Hera.
Yep, Pendant Hera was the right play there. Yeah, you're right. It all really shakes down to how soon Daze thinks to get over to Swamp if they but we'll see. It looks like Jedders is coming back up here. Should not too far behind Daze. They'll probably route in Tower of Hera as well. We'd hope, and get the hammer soon after.
Yeah, the good thing about this play of finishing off Moldorm the way he did, gets that green pennant. I'm gonna guess he's probably going to save and quit, head over, do pod, as well as get that green pendant turn in at the exact same time. Still doesn't have that bow. We're still looking for that bow, so more than likely not over to pod.
We do have Mimic Cave though, with that hammer.
We do. Assuming we can get over there, assuming that first chest is a small key and we aren't locked in the
Oh,
chain
I'm
chomp.
sorry. I meant not Mimic Cave. I meant Spike Cave.
Yes. Ooh. We do have Spike Cave. We do have the cave and the Cane of Burna, so it is logical access now. We will probably see Jedders make that call after doing Hera. When he gets that hammer, I'm surprised DazedCloud didn't do it. Probably just making the gamble that there's nothing there. Does decide to go straight to Swamp. It is beatable here. So we'll probably end up doing this Swamp Palace into probably Desert Palace play right after, assuming he doesn't get another item that pulls him somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, yeah, that seems right. Jetter is probably about. Yeah, they still haven't. I wonder if they're gonna route in because they haven't done the light Death Mountain on the to get their tempered.
No, he'll probably route those in. He'll probably route in Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave after getting the boots here. As DazedCloud going to be picking up that Ice Rod here. So no Medallion Hunt, no Ice Rod Hunt. Kind of looking about... We're at the point of kind of looking like, what can be on the pedestal at this point. Bow can't be on the pedestal. Well, I guess Silvers could be on the pedestal. Flute would be a nasty one to be on pedestal. That is a viable option. Fire Rod could also be on the pedestal. So two really nasty things that could be on the pedestal there. As Jedders does pick up his Tempered Sword there in Paradox Cave. Probably just going to be following DazedCloud for quite a while. Unfortunately, is down by a decent bit here. Alright, with DazedCloud being in Swamp here, you're still, a few items from Go mode. Would you do left side Swamp?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would just get it out of the way. You know you've got items to look for. Just get it done. Maybe you want to skip it initially, and but yeah, even though I still think you gotta get it out of the way. But you always like to think that you skip it, you get most of your items, and orphan one or the ideal like map and compass are over there, and you've just left it behind. Yeah, I think depending on how good you're feeling about the race, I'd probably just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, personally, I experienced it earlier today. I skipped left side Swamp. My Go mode was left side Swamp after skipping it. Spent 30 minutes looking for it. Felt kind of bad, so I've kind of, if I'm not in Go mode, I am probably going to check it.
Yeah, seeing the compass, I don't think we've seen the big key yet, so there's definitely something over on left side.
As we see Jedders checking the boots checks here. After getting those boots, he's going to follow that logic. Does check King's Tomb, only gets a piece of heart there. He's going to be checking Bonk Rocks here, so a couple new checks from Jedders here. Kind of hoping for a flute or a fire rod at this point, or that bow. Let him get a tiny bit of an edge back. And comes up with not much there in those boots checks, unfortunately. As DazedCloud does start up the Argus fight. When I say start up, I mean enters and kills him in less than 30 seconds. Very fast fight. Yeah, the hammer was in the, I believe it was the compass, what's known as the compass chest, or just the top chest next to the big chest there in Hera is where the hammer was at. Yeah, as Jedders, when he went up the mountain, did not go into Hera, so he abandoned that hammer. That lead for DazedCloud is definitely growing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm just trying to think of like what other options do you have out there to check. I mean, you got to think that they're kind of running out right now.
There's still Ice Palace, as bad as it sounds right now. DazedCloud going back into Swamp Bay is going to do check that big chest because he got the big key off of Argus there from that kill, and we'll be going left side.
Yeah, and Jenner is going back, checking library, did the blind lumberjack, just kind of cleaning up the spots they skipped over in the early game, just making sure that there wasn't anything that they missed early on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what checks he has left outside of Ice Palace and Hera. Definitely running out of checks very, very fast here. He already did the Smith's Chain. All he has left is Hammer Pegs. We know he did Magic Bat. I mean, there's not, unfortunately, there's not much left for Jedders to do besides those 2 dungeons.
It would have been, I think in Jetter's position, I would have probably talked myself into taking the time to go and just check Ped. You got the book. You don't really, you're kind of looking for stuff right now, and if you're looking for options, checking Ped would at least tell you like whether like, yeah, you better start clearing pendants now.
Yeah, he's checking that Bombos Tamlet. Just 300 rupees there, as not much on the left side swamp, it looks like. DazedCloud, I'm gonna say still Ice Palace still looking good, but I'm guessing probably gonna head over to Desert here. Probably follow Jedders here into Desert. Probably gonna be our next set of progression.
Yeah, you'd hope to be finding a bow over here, I would say. Or a bow, or yeah, you could probably find Fire Rod in here too, or Flute.
Yeah, either one of those 3. Best case would probably be the Fire Rod. It lets you clear 2 more dungeons in Skullwoods and Turtle Rock. Bow lets you clear Pod. Flute, obviously, Misery Mire.
Nice thing about Flute too, a little bit of added mobility to get around and do some more checks.
Yeah, it lets you move around a lot faster. Pretty much negates the save and quit option from the game of wasting time to have to save and quit, go back into the certain spot you want to go. Alright, as we see the vanilla big key there in Desert. Tabby Cad, teammate of Jedders, throwing in a tiny bit of shade at her teammate there, skipping Hera the way he did. Like it's not a bad call per se, because lately, like myself, people tend to skip those pendants. They try to just route in all the crystals as fast as possible without having to touch any of the pendants.
Yeah, I mean, if your game plan is coming in, you stay out of pendant dungeons. You're looking at what you have. They probably realized they could swing down and do those checks, check bombos, and go right into Desert and clear it for an extra crystal. Yeah, I mean it's easy to justify skipping out. I mean, it's unfortunate because we know the answer, right?
Yeah.
As commentators, we get to see, where everything is, and but if you're Jedders, I can absolutely, see how you rationalize just saying no, I'm gonna go stick to crystals.
Yeah, especially with Tower of Hera only being 2 item checks. Third, if you include the green pendant turn in, he had that versus the rest of the map and other checks to do. So it is justifiable to skip 3 checks versus 15 to 18 with the rest of the overworld and other dungeons he could do. As we see Jedders going into Landmo first, using Ice Rod strats here. Definitely same damage output as the Fire Rod in this fight.
Yeah, slightly slower firing rate with the delay off of the projectile compared to Fire Rod. So a little weird if you're not used to it, but will definitely get the job done just as well.
Yeah, as we see DazedCloud doing pretty much the same strat with the Ice Rod. Does miss 3 shots there, opting to not use the Ice Rod anymore. Going to go with the Tempered Sword. Kills him really fast with the Tempered Sword. Does get the kill on Landmo. That is the 4th crystal for him. To Jedders 2. And it looks like Jedders making that call to head back up to do Hera instead of Ice Palace.
Yeah, without any real progression coming out of Desert, they probably just said, you know what, I've got to come back. I got to take a look. There's no other there's no other good option from here.
Yeah, as we see DazedCloud coming back up the mountain. I know he has Spike Cave. Looks like he's trying to play the avoid Ice Palace as much as possible. Probably going to check in Spike Cave here. Maybe dip into Turtle Rock, get a couple checks in there if he can.
Yeah, I think if you're up here, you might as well check the first chest in Turtle Rock. Given the way things have been, it's not unreasonable to think progression's just kind of sitting there waiting for you to get your hammer and cane. And there you go.
Yeah, as Spike Cave holding just another heart container. And I believe all we have left is the Ice Palace play. I'm pretty sure between both players, they have checked pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah, I think we are. I think sooner or later, yeah, I got to imagine we're gonna see. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Ice Palace. I think we did. We did Graveyard Ledge too, didn't we? I think I remember we saw King's Tomb on Jedders' side.
We have not seen it actually. I don't know if Jedders did Graveyard Ledge. I'd be very surprised. But I know we saw him do. I don't think he did Graveyard Ledge because he did those boots checks from the Light World after starting in Sanctuary. As Jedders, taking on Moldorm, does find that hammer, does take a fall to Moldorm. We'll be getting that green pendant. We still don't know what that is yet. Neither players visited that part of the map since their first Eastern Palace dip. As Graveyard Ledge yielding our Fire Rod.
Oh man.
And Jedders did alienate that check a bit ago when he did those 2 boots checks. It's unfortunately another check that it may be a long while till Jedders gets to it.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge kind of out there on an island, really. It's not a lot of stuff around there. I mean, King's Tomb is really what you like to route in with it. But having done that already, it's hard to imagine when and how you route that back in efficiently.
Yeah, I mean, this opens up 2 more dungeons for DazedCloud. It opens up Skullwoods and Turtle Rock, now both fully beatable. Just the lead growing second by second here for DazedCloud. But this is rando. Anything can happen. Jetter's an amazing player. Anything could happen. So he's definitely not out of the race completely.
Absolutely. Yeah, rando gonna rando, and Jedder has been, putting on a very good race. Made some decisions. Unfortunately, some of those decisions, didn't play out, and that's just the nature of randomizer. But overall, they've been, putting on a very good show. Their execution has been very good.
Yeah, everyone at some point does get bit by the getting randoed bug, as you'd say, and at this point it's almost DazedCloud needs to get bit as well, for him to be able to come back in this race.
Yeah, and anything can happen. I mean, like, certainly anything could happen here. Absolutely, I encourage everybody out there, give both our runners a follow. They're both great competitors, great rando players. Absolutely support them, give them a follow. They've been putting on a great race today, and they would love your support.
Yeah, Jedders and DazedCloud, two definite top runners, in the community, both very, very highly respected players. As we see DazedCloud taking care of Mothula there, as we see Jedders making that dip into Turtle Rock, not having the Fire Rod, kind of hoping he gets a small key in that first chest there to be able to at least get to the back to hopefully get to Laser Bridge or Mimic Cave there. If it's anything but a small key, it's not looking good, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm almost convinced at this point that there is something in Turtle Rock, like either the bow or the flute, and it's just going to be. There's our pet check, and nothing on there. So
just some couch cash. So pet is dead. Extremely unlikely we see either of the other two pendant dungeons anymore. DazedCloud making that call to go up to Turtle Rock.
Oh no, and Jetter's realizing they don't have the Fire Rod.
Did get a small key on that left chest, so he can at least get to Chain Chomp Room, hoping for another small key there. That'll give him access to the rest of the dungeon. If it's anything else, he's still on the hunt for that Fire Rod.
Yeah, don't want to see like the big key here. You really want to get that other key and at least have the ability to go through the rest of the dungeon.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, like you said, Jedders does not want to find the big key. Alright, does get that small key. Will be progressing further into the dungeon.
DazedCloud, hot on their heels, also about to enter Turtle Rock.
Alright, so we'll probably be following Jedders here through this dungeon with these new checks. DazedCloud about of the quarter of the dungeon behind him, entering it, but does have the loadout with that Fire Rod to be able to finish the dungeon. Check that right side when he first enters. Downside is if that big key is on the right side, will lock him out of Laser Bridge. He won't be able to check anything else unless it's a vanilla big key here. Does find the flute there on Lava Bridge though. That does open up Misery Mire as well as the faster movement through the rest of the seed.
Yeah, a good find. That will lead to progression. That keeps the Jedders in the race here by being able to get over to Mire. As long as there's not another progression item sitting, behind here, as we're going to see on DazedCloud's side, then that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately that flute is a great find for him there. But it's pulling him further away from getting that fire rod that he needs. Checking Mimic Cave here. Honestly, worst case would be Bow here in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, and even though the flute is giving them much quicker access to everywhere around Hyrule, it's not yeah, Graveyard Ledge not easily accessible from any flute spot. You still have to go a bit out of your way to get there.
Agreed. Unless Jedders, when activating this flute, just decides to just randomly go up to Graveyard Ledge right here. At this point, it is DazedCloud's race to lose. Unfortunately, he needs to get over there. We know that, but he doesn't. But we're not gonna call it here, saying DazedCloud's gonna win. You know, he's so far ahead. He's gonna grab his flute here. I would say it's looking favorable for DazedCloud as we see Jedders heading over to Meyer. Can complete it. He's just getting pulled in the wrong direction on this seat, unfortunately.
Yeah, and especially if Meyer contains something like Bow, that'll just keep Jedders going along, hoping to find Fire Rod in pot. Well, actually, we know Fire Rod's not in. We've seen all of Pod. I think it was Jedders that cleared most of Pod, right?
Yeah, Jedders was the one that potion glitched with that green potion that he got from the Waterfall Fairy. I wasn't keeping track of items. There could be that item on Helmasaur still.
I think that's what's left is just one item on Helmasaur.
But unfortunately, we know as viewers that the bow can't be there, since DazedCloud is just that bow from Go mode.
Oh yeah, chat pointing out Jedders did that fantastic, really quick mimic clip, not the potion glitch.
Yeah, it went so fast that we forgot he did it. That's how fast it was. As both runners in separate dungeons here, DazedCloud going to be finishing up Turtle Rock, Jedders in Misery Mire. So if we find the bow here in the upcoming Laser Bridge, DazedCloud will be in Go mode, as we do have the God Mire for Misery Mire. So if DazedCloud finds that bow, it's dire straits for Jedders.
Yeah, bow and laser bridge. I think that puts us in no mode. I think because once they get to Meyer, they can just breeze right through.
Alright, does get that small key on Laser Bridge. Checking this last chest here.
All that's left is Trinex. I think there might be an item sitting on Trinex too.
I want to say yes, because I know we did find the compass there on Laser Bridge. And I wasn't paying attention if he had found the map or not. I was looking over at Jedders as he's clearing out Misery Mire.
And Jedders pulling off another extended door state dash there that clips them through the rail there, saving a couple seconds of having to walk all the way around. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I got it, I believe, on the first try there. It's not one we see very often. Limited usage, I should say. Oh, and we are in no mode, as Jedders does find that bow in the big chest there of Meyer.
Yeah. Yeah, getting the flute out of Turtle Rock. Dazed is likely thinking Meyer at this point, and it's going to be smooth sailing for them from here on out.
Yeah, I want to say he's probably going to finish up head to Meyer, grab that bow, head over to Pod, and finish it up from there. All right.
So, all things considered, this has been a fairly nice seed. Nothing too out of the ordinary, I think.
Outside of just the hammer being there in Tower of Hera, nothing too nasty, nothing super trolly or anything.
Yeah, and even though Jedders did leave it behind initially, they did go back there relatively quickly. So it wasn't something that really kind of left him hanging for too long.
Yeah. I'd like to thank ALTTPR League Channel 1 with the rate of 21 viewers joining us from their race over there. As we have the race here, DazedCloud of Spoiled Leftovers versus hXcJedders from Hyrule Track and Field. You're joining DazedCloud does have a bit of a lead over Jedders. Jedders missing the Fire Rod, which is in Graveyard Ledge, has put him relatively far behind, unfortunately. And as you predicted, DazedCloud heading over to Meyer. We'll be finishing that. We'll be getting his bow.
Yeah, it's still kind of with the bow we know is sitting in the big chest. So Daze is likely still going to full clear Meyer here, even though we have a favorable key layout.
Yeah, with it being a God Meyer, he will likely get the big key, do the spike chest, then go to left side to get do the torch chest over there, and then go back to the right side. Alright, we flip back over to Jedders. Looks like he's heading over do Swamp Palace, get that finished up. And we'll probably follow that up with a run up to Palace of Darkness to get that finished up.
Yeah, and we know left side swamp is a bit of a bust for Jedders. They'll probably still end up doing left side, but we know unfortunately not much there to be had.
Yeah, Tepidino in chat saying that DazedCloud may just rush straight to Vitreous here and then come back for the items if he doesn't find an item on Vitreous. And that's not what he's doing. He did not get a small key in that spike chest. Even though we have the pot, he will be full clearing this dungeon. We'll be finding that bow and be in go mode very, very shortly. Yeah, we have a little bit of downtime here as we see both runners kind of going over each other's paths. Pull up the schedule here real quick. So it looks like this is the final race of the day for the Open League here on the ALTTPR League. Channels. Not sure what we have going on tomorrow. I'm pretty sure the Invitational is done for the day as well over on the SG live channels. This might be the final race of the day between both tournaments.
Yeah, the second game for this week's matchup for these two, I believe, is Thursday 6:10 p.m. These will be the second game, and that's between Tabbycat 54 and I think I'm saying this correctly. Is it Chemo? Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
I believe it's Chimo. If
Okay.
anyone chat
Apologies.
corrects if we're on. I believe it is Chimo, but I could be wrong as well.
Yeah, and again, that's this Thursday, 6:10 p.m. Is when their next scheduled match. Yet, not sure if that will be on the restream, but that is at least at this time when that match will go off.
Yeah, we should know later tonight or tomorrow, early in the day, of all the restreams of the day, for which races and who's on the restream tomorrow. Obviously, we hope every stream or every race gets a restream, but fortunately, we don't have the channels or the staff to get everybody on the restream.
Yeah, right. And I mean, if you're enjoying what you see here, you definitely just give a follow to the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 channels for all your Open League games. There's plenty to see.
All right, Mystic in chat confirming it is pronounced Chimo. As we see, getting back to the race, we see DazedCloud did set up for that spooky action glitch. Lets him skip bombing this wall up here, going in and flipping different switches. It has to do with a variety of layers in the game and how you set yourself before you enter the dungeon, and there's a whole bunch of variables going on to get that glitch set up. As we see both players on separate boss fights, Jedders finishing up on Argus there, getting that big key for his 4th crystal. DazedCloud finishing up on Vitreous. For his 6th crystal, we'll be heading over to Pod to get that 7th crystal.
Yeah, and despite not having Silver's DazedCloud, making quick work of it, Vitreous, and by using the cape, doing a couple spins, and just finishing off the last few eyeballs with a few slashes.
Yeah, as we know, DazedCloud didn't glitch into the back of Palace of Darkness. We'll unfortunately be clearing a good majority of it before he gets to that big key in the Dark Maze. So he's going to be in here nearly full clearing it just to find that big key to get to Helmasaur King to finish that off for his 7th crystal. Alright, as Jedders is going back into Swamp Palace after killing Argus, we'll be checking left side Swamp with a couple items still in there after getting that big key on Argus. Still desperately looking for that Fire Rod.
Yeah, if you're Jedders, I wonder where you're thinking about going next if this doesn't pay off. I mean, uh, you'd hate to see a detour to Ice Palace. Hopefully they stick with the game plan that I've seen so far. Is both runners have seemingly wanted to stay as far away as possible from Ice Palace. So hopefully that leads Jedders back to Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Obviously, you and I have been saying that we wanted like the worst thing possible for both of these runners of something in Ice Palace. Didn't pay
What?
off.
I don't remember that.
Oh no. You know, with him leaving an isolating Graveyard Ledge for that Fire Rod, not paying off as we see DazedCloud attempting to pull off a really cool glitch. Didn't quite pull it off, called the Pog Glip, where it lets him glitch through the red crystal switch blocks up there with a certain placement of the Samario block, with dashing up the stairs and another fun quick time save instead of having to place the Samario block to flip the switch.
Yeah, another cool tech. No idea why it works. Just that it does. Similar to the rail clip we saw in Misery Mire. But yeah, it's just so cool to pull off.
Yeah, I believe it's along the same lines of the Mire door extension, or the icebreaker door extension. I believe it's a stair extension instead, where it thinks you're going up 2 sets of stairs instead of just the one. So which is why it lets you clip through it. As Jetter's turning in the green pendant just for the heart piece, getting him another full heart container. We'll probably see him entering Palace of Darkness here after getting the hammer a bit ago. As DazedCloud working his way through the Dark Maze, we'll be getting that big key here, mirroring and heading straight to the Helmasaur King for his 7th crystal.
A wonderful sync right there between both runners, going through the door there.
Yeah, almost nearly synced up frame for frame going into that room. It was kind of cool to see. The first time we've seen these runners actually pretty much together at the same time. They've just routed this seed completely differently.
Yeah, unfortunately, different circumstances bringing them here to the back of Pod.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we didn't mention this, but although this race, you know, here in the U.S. is, you know, later in the evening, you know, on the East Coast, this race I think started like 8:30 or 8:40 on the East Coast. DazedCloud lives in Korea, so this is very early in the morning for him to do this race.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, so good on DazedCloud for getting up early to do this race. I believe I think it started at like 7 or 8 in the morning for him there in South Korea, so. As we see both players fighting Helmasaur at the exact same time. Jedders gets the helmet off first, DazedCloud right behind him. Alright, with DazedCloud taking down Helmasaur King, getting a 7th crystal. Joe Fuzz, we got a game to play.
Oh yeah, we do. Would you like to kick it off?
Definitely. So, with the 7 crystal, DazedCloud will be looking for that GT big key. We have about 30 seconds to get your numbers between 1 and 22 in for that GT big key. Winner gets some internet points that we're actually keeping track of for this league. Not sure if we have anybody in chat to actually start the game. We do. Yes. 1 through 22. Get your guess in on where the Ganon's Tower big key is at. What number do you usually pick?
This time around, I've been going with number 9. That's it's usually I kind of go back and forth between 4 and 9. But yeah, 9 kind of puts you. I forget, that kind of puts you, I think, at the depending on your route, that could be Stalfos room. But yeah, it just seems like a good average middle of the road number for where you find that key. Not too trolly, but not super nice either.
Yeah, it's either if he Dark Magician routes, it puts him in Compass room. If he starts Hope room and goes left, what is that? I think it puts him at the Hookshot chest in the Fire Snake room, I think is 9, because 10 through
Yep.
13 is Rando room. All right.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Yep, we got about 3 more seconds to get those guests in before it is cut off. All right. Looks like going, my guess is Dark Magician strats here. Starting off on the left side there with the compass on the torch at number 1.
Seeing a lot of Dark Magician strats here in the league.
Yeah, it seems to be. I wouldn't call it the meta per se, but it seems to be definitely the preferred strat for all the runners. As 2 through 5 just yielding a heart container and a small shield and just a tiny amount of rupees. He's going to be heading over to the right side to get Hope room and probably the Compass room.
Jedders finally getting that fire rod.
And he is in Gomit at 136.50 with that fire rod. Just has 1 dungeon to do, so it's a little bit closer than it actually looks. With him just needing Skull, or he also needs Turtle Rock, so he's actually 2 dungeons behind. So really, it's going to probably take 2 or 3 falls or deaths from DazedCloud on Ganon for Jedders to really get back into this race, with DazedCloud being in Ganon's Tower already.
Yeah, even though having gone through most of Turtle Rock already, it's still a long dungeon to walk through.
Alright, DazedCloud coming up to that Compass room here. Gets a Fire Shield. Another Heart Piece. Got the Gold Sword. That's going to make Ganon a bit faster. And just some rupees. Going to probably snag this key here onto the pot mirror and go back to do full left up to Ice Armos.
I got to admit, I lost track of the count.
So we're at 11 right now, I believe.
Okay, I wasn't that far off.
Yeah. Alright, coming up to the Fire Bar room for number 12. Just another heart piece in there. Pulling off the red boomerang strats here in these crystal switch rooms. Throwing them diagonally to get it to clip just right. Save a little bit of time. And Jedders on his Mothula fight there in Skullwoods, getting his 6th crystal here in just a moment. On that Tempered Sword, Red Mail makes very quick work of him.
Yeah, a great fight.
And that Hookshot chest being number 13, coming up to Render Room for 14, 15, 16, and 17. 15, 16 is an arrow. 17.
Well, we get to see Armos on ice today.
Alright, DazedCloud missing that the boots clip around that railing. Just taking the extra second to go through the couple portals there. As Bob's chest holds nothing as well. Heading into Ice Armos. Set up for that quick heal, but unfortunately took a little too long to get up there to finish off the quick kill. Does get the red Armos.
There we go. First chest in after Ice Armos.
Chest
and
number
that
9.
would 19, right?
19, yeah, I believe that was 19. Amrith, our restreamer, in chat, making sure we're getting the right count there. That is a vanilla big key, actually. As Jetter's working his way through Total Rock now, we'll be finishing that up very shortly. Alright, with key 19. To move my chat to the other screen real quick so I can read that name. Fatalistical? Falastical, I think is the name. With that guess of 19. Was awarded 11 points for the big key guessing game. As DazedCloud does start up the gauntlet here, a couple rooms in now.
Yeah, that poor bee's been cooped up since the very beginning of the game, finally coming out and getting their reprieve here in Ganon's Tower.
Yes. Does get one on his kill count for this seed.
And chat correcting it. It's fatalistical. I believe I'm pronouncing it right with the hyphened phonetic spelling.
Fatalistical. DazedCloud getting a really nice Lenmo 2 fight there with the spin strats. And my favorite rooms in GT, the Wizrobe 1 and Wizrobe 1 and 2 rooms, getting the Cane strat perfectly on both of those rooms there. Heading into the Torch rooms here. As Jetter's on to Laser Bridge, we'll be getting that small key just before heading into the Trinex fight, before he makes his search for that big key.
And Daze getting up those stairs without despawning all the sprites in Ganon's Tower always raises my blood pressure every single time I come through there.
And finds those silver arrows just randomly picks that chest, finds the silver arrows in the mini helmet storeroom.
As if it were destiny, Daze just like felt compelled to open that one particular chest and find silver arrows. That's a big sigh of relief, I imagine. Silverless is certainly something all our runners, and especially these two here tonight, are definitely comfortable with. But when you get the silver arrows, you just know you don't have to think quite as much. You can kind of just breathe a little bit going into that Ganon fight.
Yeah, it makes it much easier. It saves a lot of time as well. Don't necessarily have to worry about the torch glitch. Just makes the fight overall just much easier.
And with Trinex going down on Jetter's side, they will be heading over to do the tower.
Yeah, it gets his 7th crystal. Pretty much just an Aga, or just a castle, not Aga Tower Castle, or Ganon's Tower climb behind, as DazedCloud does finish off Aghanim 2. Getting ready to jump into his Ganon fight for some cooked bacon at the end. Alright, Dazed in that Ganon fight, 6 slashes in phase 1, 6 slashes in phase 2, 4 in phase 3, and then just 4 silver arrow shots at the end. This should be a very, very fast fight. Using cape strats to get through phase 2, hugging the wall to save that magic.
Yeah, no shame in going invulnerable there. It's certainly one of the quicker ways to get rid of Ganon.
Yeah, it protects him from those fire bats. Makes it real easy to hit him there in phase 2. Guarantees the 1-in-1 with that gold sword. Quickly onto phase 3 here. As we see Jedders, I'm pretty sure was doing Dark Magician strat as well, as he's on the right side.
Yep, would certainly pick up a little bit of time if they decide to go full right side.
Alright, DazedCloud onto phase 4. Gets silver hit there, torches do go out. Not sure if he has enough magic for 2 fire rod shots. Does go with the lamp instead. Does have green. Does have that green potion.
Oh, I think that's been hanging around since the very beginning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running out of magic there. They've desynced the torches going out.
Yeah, does get that 4 shot. Needs to get across this 1x3 bridge. Everyone get your GGs in chat for DazedCloud. Get to the official time here in just a moment when he crosses the bridge. Alright, DazedCloud finishes with an official racetime.gg time of 1:48:13. Looks like we are now joined by DazedCloud. GG, great race, sir.
Hey, how'd you like that Ganon fight?
You know,
that was called I shot the fire rod to get the torch glitch, right? And my input just got eaten. It was just like bang, and then all of a sudden I'm going, wait, why are the torches out? And then going, dang it. so I had to just go back and just kind of scramble from there. I'm glad I ended up being far enough ahead there.
Yeah, he definitely got both those torches off sync from each other, alternating shots back and forth. It definitely looked like it threw you off quite a bit there, having to alternate back and forth between the two and not a consistent pattern like we're all used to.
Yeah, usually I just kind of blast through Ganon, no problem there, and I don't know, I just missed it that time. I mean, the seed was, garbage. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Hera, Tower of Hera being, I think, the big tipping point. Finding Hammer up there in, Pendant Hera.
So, do you guys want to know a secret? I don't know. The tracker might know this, but do you guys want to know a secret? I actually mistracked my dungeons. So I went up to Hera going, all right, gonna get a crystal, and then a pendant drops down, and I'm going, wait, what?
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I still would have done it anyway, but at that point, I just kind of went, oh, all right. Well, good for me.
all right. So we will classify that one under a happy accident.
Yeah, we'll call it a happy accident, not just a complete brain fart.
Well, I think it goes along the theme. Somebody mentioned it in chat on your final climb up GT that this seed might have been blessed when you just so happen to, I don't know, just say, hey, I'm going to open up this treasure chest and, oh, look, silvers.
Okay, so there's a thing that I pretty much will always do. I don't care if I've got, if I've got, Master Sword, I'll open up both. But if I've got, Tempered Sword, I haven't seen silvers all game, and I just kind of have a chance there to go ahead and, I'll open that one chest on the left. I won't open the one on the right. I'll open the one on the left, and you'll be surprised how many times I've hit silvers out of that. So I just was kind of like, yeah, well, all right, I'll take that, sure.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be, if that's what you're doing, it seems like your thing. I don't know anybody else that just randomly will open just that left chest.
It doesn't kill any time. I mean, that's the kind of the funny thing about it is you maybe lose a second at the expense of getting man, what are we talking here? Probably like a minute and a half there in the Ganon fight, depending on what sort of stuff you've got.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt you. As we see Jedders mimic clipping both mimic rooms, he is mimic clipped this entire seed.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did it in Pod because he had a green potion, but decided to mimic clip instead in Pod, and mimic clip both the mimic rooms here in GT.
What a showman.
Yeah, Jedder is putting on a fantastic show. Some expert mimic clips, probably the fastest I've ever seen them done, and flawlessly executed here in GT as we saw them slowly clip through the walls as they made their way through the big key door up there.
Yeah, no, Jedders is great. Kind of going into this week, I knew that I'd have to be on my game here. It's especially with it being open mode and stuff. It's just anything can happen, and it just kind of makes you. You never feel too great about it, and especially this kind of early start where it was just kind of going. All right, so I'm only missing one piece from Dark World access, so I guess I can't just rush Aga, even though in my gut's telling me it's an Aga seed, but I don't feel comfortable just kind of going for it. Wow, he's got 19 hearts.
Yeah, you finished with 18. He found his 19th off of the heart piece with the big key. That's what tipped him over to the 19th.
Oh, nice.
So you and your team are now 3-0. One more match coming up later this week. Is there an opponent or a match or a game type you're looking forward to in the weeks ahead, Daze?
To be honest, it's just kind of like I'm not even really sure what weeks I'm playing. That Enemizer week there at the end does sound like a complete laugh. Kind kind of that should be pretty fun. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, as far as like anybody I'm looking to play right now, I mean, it's a good. It's a good challenging division. So we're gonna have to pretty much take care of business, game in and game out here. We don't want to like overlook anyone by any means, because you do that, you're gonna lose to someone real bad. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of we're gonna just kind of take it one day at a time. God, that's cliche.
As we see Jedders making the exact same check you did with that chest in Mini Helm Storm. He does check the pre-Moldorm chest, does get that mirror shield. So checking a couple extra checks than you, but does randomly check that one chest for the silver arrows.
Oh man, yeah, that is something right there. Kind of wonder if he's gonna have a higher collection rate than mine here.
I'm gonna say he probably does. He did a lot more checks than you did throughout the seed. He pretty much, outside of not going into Ice Palace, last located the Fire Rod.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering what might have happened here. Like, cause yeah, I mean, I don't have much left either. I've got Thieves Town Big and Bat and Hammer Pegs and the Pyramid and and then Ice Palace. So like, yeah, I don't have hardly anything left either, but
Yeah, the two of you were pretty even for probably the first 30 to 45 minutes. So you took a slight lead there at the beginning, but you were, for the most part, neck and neck for a good half of the race.
I was expecting that. I mean, like, this was a fairly, I almost want to say linear. If you found that Fire Rod, like, you went from here to here to here to here to here, and that was that. Yeah, so I mean, I never really felt bad or never really felt behind this entire time. It just was kind of like, come on, Seed, hurry up, give me the goods.
Yeah, I noticed the seed did start out very, very slow. Not much progression until you actually got into the Dark World. I think you guys had one glove, 2 swords, the lamp, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, it's like once I went into pod and I got that hook shot, I'm like, okay, the game's telling me to go across the river, but you know what? I'm gonna be sneaky. I'm gonna go up to the mountain, and when I go up to the mountain, I'm gonna find myself like a fire rod or something, and then or a mirror, and that's gonna make everything even better. Ooh, Jedders, be careful.
Yeah, Jetter's down to half a heart there. Hug and Ganon there did have that blue potion to fill him back up, so should be finishing this fight here really, really soon into phase 3. Now, looks like the Ganon warps weren't too terribly bad. Fairly decent. Does set up for the double there, the double shot with the silvers. Does get the torch glitch. And does finish off with another double there. I'll get you his official time as soon as he crosses this bridge here.
Yeah, very, very good good fight there by Jedders.
Much better than mine.
Alright, as Jedders does cross that 1x3 bridge, does finish with an official racetime.gg time of 1:58:13. We are joined by Jedders here. Invoice hXcJedders.
Hola.
GG's there, Jedders.
Yeah, GG's. That fire rod got me good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was definitely. That was a thing. Jedders, GG. What are your overall thoughts on the seed in general and kind of where everything is? I mean, obviously, Fire Rod was a thing.
Well, I was listening to Daze talk about it, and he said that if you got the fire rod, it was fairly linear. And if you routed like me, it seemed like the seed just was hiding things everywhere. It was just all over the place, and I didn't know what the next thing I should do was, so I just kind of like did some random stuff at a point.
Yeah, I think we definitely noticed you made some what I thought were very good routing decisions, and then unfortunately it just randomizer does its thing, and what it didn't pay out, right? I want to know what were your thoughts with Hammer in up in Tower of Hera with a green pendant.
I was honestly kind of surprised it was there. Not that it was necessarily like, oh, it couldn't have been there. It was just one of those things that it just seemed like the most unlikely of places for it to be.
Yeah, I think we were a little. Well, I mean, by that point, I think we were running out of checks, and I know I was kind of calling Ice Palace. Like I was thinking, it feels like they're gonna have to check there at some point. But you both seem to be really trying to avoid Ice Palace like the plague, which obviously was the right answer. Progression being up there on Hera, that hammer there was a little out of the way.
Yeah, and the reason why I skipped Hera initially was because I had got some stuff on East Death Mountain, so I wanted to go and check some of that stuff out before I went to Hera because, it was I didn't have a hammer to go over there, so I would have had to climb the west side to get into Hera, and it just didn't seem like a useful, amount of time, when I could go do something like, I forgot what I had access to what I found on that side of the mountain, but yeah, that was my priority. It was to clean that up and then go back to Hera. It was like Hera was on the short list.
Yeah, when you were both still kind of looking for that hammer, Joe and I were just like, well, they have access to Ice Palace. Like, it might be an Ice Palace, like, because everything was narrowing down to just Hera or just Ice Palace. So we were thinking like one of you would go to Hera, the other one would go to Ice Palace. One of you would find it, the other person would be kind of not in a hot spot, and you both avoided Ice Palace and both eventually found it there in Hera.
Yeah, I would definitely 9 times out of 10 go to Hera before Ice Palace because Hera is much faster to do. Now Hera Basement, I left that behind. That in itself is a lot of time, and I was reluctantly leaving it behind, but I said I've got green pendant and I got one of the items, and one of the items was hammer. It was a good item, so I wasn't terribly worried. So
I'll ask you, Jedders, the same thing I asked Daze. What are you most looking forward to in the coming weeks? Is there an opponent you're looking forward to or looking forward to avoiding? Or is there a particular game mode you're excited about in the upcoming weeks?
Well, I'd say that out of all the weeks, this was probably the hardest matchup we had by far. Dazed is really good, and we wanted to try to come out this week 2-0, so we just went for it. But moving on to the following weeks, I know spoiler key sanity. Kind of looking forward to that. We got a great pilot in Tabby. She was our pilot for both races last season, and I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be like this season. We just kind of have come to the conclusion to just talk about each week at a time. But I think that's what our plans are. So that one I'm looking forward to because I think we'll do really well then. Enemizer could be interesting. I'm not that big of a fan of Enemizer, but I've never done co-op Enemizer, so I don't know how that is going to work in terms of, some of the minute details, ins and outs of it. But it'll be interesting to figure that one out when it comes time.
Yeah, I don't doubt that the co-op Enemizer week is going to be quite entertaining for everyone. Okay. Any final thoughts?
Other than Rando didn't go my way up against a tough opponent, which didn't help me any. So, but that's how it goes. So that's the game we all love to play.
Yeah, GG's again to Jedders. Thanks to everybody for tracking, and thanks to you guys for comment the raise. Thanks to the restreamers. See Jedders in the playoffs probably. Hopefully. Call it hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, you both already, both your teams were top of your division today. Before coming into today, obviously, spoiled leftovers. You're moving up with 9 points, but already off, getting a lot of points on the board early in the season. We expect more good things to come for sure from both your teams.
Yeah, I think we're gonna probably call it here for the race. As soon as your cred's finishing up rolling, Jedders, I think we're gonna have the schedule thrown up here in just a moment for what's upcoming. And actually, there is our schedule right there. For all the races, I believe, coming out for at least the next couple days there. But GG's to you, DazedCloud, GG Jedders. Jedders, I will see you week 6 for my loss.
I mean, you never know. Rando does rando things.
That's very true. Just gotta hope for that fire rod in Graveyard Ledge again. Yeah, if we don't have anything else, I think we're gonna call it here. GG's to everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. Definitely give our runners a follow, Jedders and DazedCloud a follow, as well as my co-commentary, Joe Fuzz, as well as our tracker, Yoinker's wife, who we haven't mentioned till now. Thank you to her for tracking, and our restreamer for the evening, Amarith. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and good luck to everyone in your future races.
GG's, everyone. Have a good night.